But I was in tears during Oprah's Favorite Things. As amazing as that was, the other side of the coin was daily tears. Daily tears. Our first crate. So we had to have this luxe packaging. It was a wooden crate and it had Cookie Society imprinted on the top. It was beautiful. And she wanted 12 individual cookies, 12 unique flavors. So we do this. We send them off. We send the first probably 150.
Oprah wants, Oprah gets.
Exactly. Yeah. We're like, we'll jump through all the hoops of fire, whatever you want. And they all broke. The crates, collapsed when people received them in the mail.
Welcome back to Making It with Jess Ekstrom. Today, our guest is Marissa Allen, founder of Cookie Society, a brand that has built a cult following for its over-the-top gourmet cookies and bold flavors. What I love about Marissa's story is that it's not just about baking, it's about building something from scratch, betting on your creativity, motherhood, and turning a passion into a nationally recognized business. She navigated the highs of rapid growth, the reality of scaling a product-based company, and what it really takes to stand out in a crowded market. So let's dive in. And when I say dive in, I mean dig in, because we're about to record this podcast while I eat these cookies.
Okay, so I think that in order for me to focus in this interview, I have to try a cookie before we start really talking.
I agree.
So can you walk me through what we have here?
Yes. Okay. So I brought chocolate chip. It's our award-winning chocolate chip.
Yep.
Banana pudding, which is Oprah's favorite. It's our claim to fame.
Oprah's favorite.
I just have to throw that in there, right?
How many times can you say, like, oh, I created this thing that is Oprah's favorite?
Really only once a year now. Yeah. I get to come on a podcast, but it's really good.
Okay.
Frosted oatmeal, which is probably my personal go-to. I could eat that every morning for breakfast.
Yeah. I think that's where I'm heading.
It's basically healthy.
Yeah, it's basically a salad. Yeah. Thank you. Oh my gosh. What's your favorite?
Ooh, there's salted caramel under there. And then I think I'm gonna go strawberry donut.
Oh,
since
yeah.
We're kind of going.
Yeah. And it matches the vibe.
Yeah.
Cheers. Marissa, thanks for being here.
It's good.
Tell me, just take me back to the beginning. Like, started this? Did you have a love for baking? Did you know you want to start a business? Talk to me.
No, I was not like, I'm going to start a business. It was always, I just like making people happy. I want to share cookies. At the time, I was just sitting in the locker room, but I'm talking dozens and dozens. Like I was baking like I had a business.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
Good. I'm glad you like that.
That was really
good start
good.
to breakfast.
Yeah.
It's basically trail mix.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, this is so good.
But I'm sending up these cookies and they're loving them. The coach even was like, hey, you can only send them when we win. Cause I was just every Sunday I'm making cookies. They'll be in the locker room on Monday.
And this is for what team? Like
my husband was on the Houston Texans at that time.
Okay.
So I made some when he was on the Chiefs, but that's a different story. So I'm sending them up there. We're down in Houston. I'm making all of these cookies and a teammate tries to buy some. And that was what planted the seed. I really never had an intention of starting like a business.
Right.
So,
and then is that when the light bulb went off for you, or when did you say this could be something?
not even. I kind of had to be pushed into it.
Yeah.
I was reluctant. We had 2 small kids at the time. My youngest was 6 months old.
Oh,
like
yeah, that's
I'm
small.
talking itty bitty, crawling around the kitchen. My oldest was 1 and a half. And it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, why would I start a business? We don't have the level of support that we need here.
1.5-year-old and a 6-month-old.
Yeah.
Let's throw a business in the mix.
Yeah. And he's like, go for it. I'm not going to play football forever. He was so encouraging.
Aww.
But I was like, I don't know where to start. Now, I did go and majored in business, but it's still, I feel like that doesn't always translate to starting something because that's just a different kind of grind. But we did eventually assign a price to that dozen cookies that I sold, and it kind of planted a seed. And I started really just looking into what it takes to start a business because I had absolutely no idea. So we filed for Cookie Society trademarks, and I get a little URL, $5,000 website. I mean, it was terrible. It was,
oh my God.
Apple Pay was around, but you still had to type in your credit card.
Yeah.
Like that's how ancient the site was.
I look at my first website for my first company, Headbands of Hope, I thought it would be cool to have a chevron background, which tells you like when I started it. And then 2, to have like blades of grass growing out of the,
put this right here.
Yeah, I'll put it in there. To have blades of grass like growing out of the website. And the pictures of the products that I took were on the counter of my college dorm room and with a camera that I rented from the library. But I'm like, looking back, I'm like, I'm kind of proud.
You should be, because you just made it happen. Like, you didn't think about it at the time. And that's why I always tell people, you got to start.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to start.
And so you did $5,000 website, Cookie Society. Were you still cooking out of your house, or like what was the like nitty gritty beginning?
So we decided to go for it. We were still in Houston, but my husband was like, hey, I might retire. So we bought a house, didn't tell anybody in Dallas, where I'm from. His mom had actually recently relocated to Dallas from Chicago a year before we got here. And I just remember, okay, this is going to be good. We'll have some support. Me and Jeff are going to do this together. Well, joke's on me, because he went back to play 3 more seasons with Kansas City. And so we did start the business, but we were only doing online. So I would take orders all week on a limited menu. I think I would offer 4 to 6 flavors.
Yeah.
And then we'd go to this commercial kitchen that I rented by the hour. It was $20 an hour.
Yeah.
And we'd bring all the supplies in like those plastic totes, and we'd whip up all our cookies in the commercial mixer and oven, and we'd pack them up, and I'd run straight to the post office. I did that for almost 2 years.
Oh my
Almost 2 years. And it felt like we were just turning our wheels, because on the weekends I would fly to Kansas City with our 2 kids, especially if it was a home game. We'd watch the game, and then I'd be back on the flight. There was a 6 a.m. that left out of Kansas City on Monday morning. And then I would drop them off at daycare and go straight to school. His mom would come help me sometimes in the kitchen, and we would have 3-4 hours to knock it out.
Yeah.
And we were doing 100, 150 boxes though.
That's
at
awesome.
peak, out of this little kitchen with no plan.
Yeah.
So we figured it out.
One of the things that I think is really cool about your story, your husband was in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, and rightfully so, like that's the focus. You know, that is the thing that your family is doing. And my husband played college football and then coached. And so a lot of his friends went to the NFL too. And so I could kind of see like glimpses into the family life. And what I love about y'all's relationship is he was like, I know this isn't forever. And he also saw you for who you are and your dreams. That's so cool.
It was hard because I played soccer in college.
Yeah.
So it was hard going from, you know, one team, one goal, and I'm trying to achieve this massive goal, win the Big Ten, and then go to the big dance, all of those things. And now I was a stay-at-home mom, and it didn't diminish the impact of being a stay-at-home mom, but we both kind of knew that it wasn't going to end there, and that I wasn't going to be at home for forever. What were we going to do? Just look at each other? Like, we knew that wasn't going to work for us. We both had to kind of be working towards something, and this just kind of worked out. So I carried, and now he's a massive part of the business, and couldn't do it without him. And
what's it like? Because my husband works for my company too. We've also had guests on this show whose husbands, and I always have to ask because I'm like just personally curious. What's the dynamic like? And I know he's here, so maybe he can come in and chime in too. Working with running a business with your husband.
You know what's so funny? And
you can be honest too.
Well,
I'm very
he mentioned
honest,
it a couple days ago, and he was like, "You stopped calling me like babe," and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I did," because we sit at the boardroom table together or in front of our teams a lot, and so I just refer to him as Jeff, and I was like, "Oh my goodness," and so I will say that work kind of seeped into home a little bit because we would go from work, and there's not a transition period at this time in our life. Like we are immediately grabbing kids, immediately getting to a baseball field, a softball field, a taekwondo facility. Like we are always running. And so there wasn't this turn off, turn back into husband and wife. And so we've been working on that, full transparency. But I think it's great because I 100% trust the person on the other side of the table. Like I respect their opinion in ways that you don't always see in a workplace because, you know, we're all making decisions for ourselves, but we're making decisions for our family. And so I think that is definitely a part of our success and like kind of the secret sauce is we are on the same page, we are going for the same goal, and we have very specific responsibilities. So that also helps.
Yeah, I want to talk about the roles, but I'll also tell you, I said this, you know, on an episode before, but like the piece of marriage advice that I got from someone around working with your spouse, because we were having the same like issue isn't the right. Well, I would say working with Jake, my husband, has been 90% awesome. 10% we want to kill each other. Just like
it's completely fair.
So all consuming. It's just everything is with each other, and it's great because we're yin and yang. Like I'm very creative, he's very logical, and so there's no one you trust more. But the same thing where it just all kind of bled into it. And we were kind of every ounce of our conversation was logistics.
Yes.
Even with the kids, with the business, no like deep questions. Yeah. How are you feeling? How is your day? Even things that could be soft were like, what is the, estimated timeline for the chicken nuggets in the, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, we can just say like, hey babe, when are the chicken nuggets? Like, but we were so business mode. And so this person gave us advice that from the hours of 9 to 5, you can be colleagues and you can be married. And then after 5, you can just be married.
Love that.
But also like the idea that I can also be married during the day.
Yeah.
And call him babe or whatever on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, we can do that. We can be playful with each other.
So when I'm talking to my kids and I tell them to go do something, I'll say, hey, go find dad. Do you talk like that or do you?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm at work and we're doing our content shoot and I said that to a team member. She's significantly younger than me. And I said like, dad brought they're like, dad? And they gave me such a hard time. So I don't know if I can be married at work.
They gave me so such a hard time. Go bring this to daddy. To who?
Everybody stopped and turned and I was so embarrassed because that doesn't happen, but we are. I love that.
We'll do like, we'll launch a website or promotion and me, obviously I'm like on it and the whole team and he's like, damn, you look hot. And I'm just like, that's
the energy.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. I want to go back to the roles because you and I are in similar seasons. Maybe you're further along in motherhood, although you have a 1-year-old too and I have a 1-year-old, which is like, you start over. For me, I've struggled lately with the gear shifting between business owner, mom, spouse.
Yeah.
And I feel like business owner has been kind of blanketed on top of it. Like definitely when it comes to attachment to my phone, like I'm at the park and I'm like, well, let me just approve this video real quick or let me just do this. And I feel like the gear shifting has been so hard. Have you experienced that?
I agree. I think part of it is we found a way to be so efficient. I can get a lot done in a little bit of time. So in time in the car, and it has been hard to unplug, or especially if I like leave work early to go do something with the kids or take care of it, that switch has not been easy to kind of turn off. I've tried to shift. I just get up really, really early.
Yeah, same.
And I'm trying to just knock it out. Yes, I agree. And I much prefer this. I would rather take my time for sleep. I can do that later and knock out some of the work things so I can be 100% present.
Yes.
I cook a lot. I used to have a food blog before Cookie Society. And so my family is used to like home cooked meals.
Yeah.
And I noticed it was kind of last year and the year prior that aside from being pregnant, that just stopped. It was just, we just got to get something in us. Like food was just fuel. We were rarely sitting at our table. It was just holding backpacks and bags and computers. And we had to kind of make a shift. And my husband had to gently like, hey, we liked that. And then my son was like, he was just too excited for a meal, the occasional meal that I made. And so I've actually been trying to reconnect almost with my kids in that way.
Through food.
Inviting them in the kitchen a little bit.
Yep.
But also just providing that meal for them and kind of showing care in that way, in the way that I used to. Yeah. And everybody's responded really well. Yeah. So it's been good. I mean, it's the same reason we started Cookie Society. It was a way to connect with people via cookies. And like you take this to connect with your friends and family. And so I'm kind of circling back and taking it back to step one at home.
What an amazing discovery that you knew that was food is so much more than just something you consume. It's conversation, it's culture, it's family. And so knowing that was important to your family unit is really cool. For us, it's play, like playing games, playing wrestling. And I know like even before we had kids, my husband and I would play pickleball a lot. And that was like, and we also would play Monopoly Deal, kick his ass.
Goodness,
oh my gosh.
You need to come over. That's our game.
Oh.
I feel like people don't know.
It gets heated in our house. Yeah.
Fit right in.
The other day
my kids want to play.
I asked ChatGPT to make rules for Monopoly Deal for a couple.
Oh.
And it was like, okay, every time someone fills a property, you have to say one thing you love about that person.
Send me that.
I will definitely send it to you. Yeah, we play Monopoly Deal all the time.
I love it.
But I know when we're lacking in our like just family unit is when we're not playing.
Yep.
And so finding ways to incorporate play. So that's so cool that food is that thing for you. So I want to go back to Cookie Society because this was not just a sell it to the team and then what's next. I mean, you have multiple locations, Oprah's favorite things list. I mean, just absolutely crushing it. And not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of women entrepreneurs, not a lot of women of color entrepreneurs are making it this far. Yeah. So what do you think is like, pun intended, the secret ingredient to Cookie Society success?
I think early on, I mentioned that $5,000 website. We were very adamant about building the business upon itself. So could we probably have paid a designer and had this beautiful website from the jump? Maybe, but we didn't want to necessarily do it that way. Yeah. We needed to prove the concept first. And so that's why we did the drops that way. It was because we would essentially take all those pre-orders and then I would only go make what I had orders for. I wasn't sitting on a ton of inventory. And we just tried to be really intentional about, okay, if this is really going to work, you can't just throw money at it. And we saw a lot of people do that. They're just like, cool, I have the funds. I'm going to get this off the ground really, really fast. But we didn't do that. So there is not a job at Cookie Society that we can't do. From even the machines that we've gotten in the last couple years, we know how to put them together. We do. We are full scale production. Amazing. Thousands of cookies an hour. Like it's amazing. But we didn't start like that. Yeah. We started hand scooping in the back. We weren't even using scales. And then we're like, oh, wow, we really need to scale because your cookies don't look like my cookies. They're so much bigger. Yeah. And we just figured everything out incrementally, organically, kind of along the way. And I think that is why we're still standing because we were able to pivot when needed. Okay, we were going to do big cookies and small cakes. That doesn't make sense. Yep. And we just kind of figured it out.
Because didn't you start kind of during the pandemic or was it? Yeah, tell me about that.
We opened at the beginning of the stay-at-home order here in like the Dallas area.
Wow.
And we were already over a month behind. We didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. So we were.
And when you have a brick and mortar space where rent has to be paid, like that is scary.
And so we were paying rent before we opened that store.
Damn.
You know, we contacted the city. They're like, yeah, you know, you guys are technically takeout. So you guys can stay open if you want because any non-essential business.
Cookies are essential.
Yeah, cookies are essential. That's really the lesson here. But I kind of look back at that time and that was just grace. Because if we had opened full scale, full send without the pandemic, we would have been open from 10 to 8. Let's say that's 10 to 9's our hours right now. And we would have fallen on our faces.
Tell me why.
We did not have enough refrigeration. We didn't have a big enough mixer. We didn't have enough people. I didn't have enough tables. I literally didn't have enough tables. I remember we went and bought trays within our first 3 days of opening because we didn't have enough. And we had spent like this whole week making cookie dough that was going to last us through our grand opening weekend. And we sold out day 1. Everybody stayed almost overnight for day 2. And we sold out by like 1 o'clock, like midday.
Okay, so you have this really unique ability. We were talking about this before, to create like a Taylor Swift rush of just like, oh my God, Eras tickets are on sale. Like you have the, you're like only doing breakfast in March. Yeah. You were like, oh, I didn't bring our, what do you call it? A cookie?
Yes.
Your croissant cookie, because they were still in the oven and it's our like literal top selling thing, but we only do it like once a year.
Got to get it while it's there.
And everyone else would be like, oh, people love this cookie, so let's sell it all the time. And you are like, no, let's make this, exclusive.
A thing.
Tell me about how you think about that.
I'm not the only one. My husband's definitely the marketing, probably brainchild at Cookie Society. So I got to give him a little shout out. Yeah.
He needs to come sit on this.
I know. That's absolutely his gift. But I remember when I was coming up with these flavors, I didn't come up with them all at once with breakfast being the end goal. It was like, ooh, it worked really well with this flavor. What else can I do? And we're just throwing out breakfast items. And we kind of landed and you're like, wait, we should do them all at the same time. So I think it was maybe 3 years ago that we did our first complete breakfast menu. And if you hate breakfast, I'm just not going to see you in March. And that was really scary. But we saw the opposite. We saw people coming out and the order sizes were larger because they wanted to try them all. They were so enticing.
Interesting.
And we essentially created kind of a holiday, taking off of like Prime Day, which isn't one day anymore. Taking off of like Black Friday. We wanted to create that same kind of rush. And that's why we limit the flavor and those flavors to this month.
To like get people to be like, I'm gonna stand outside and make sure.
It's a holiday. People
Yeah.
know. They know it's March. Cookies back on the menu. I'll see you guys in 48 hours.
That is
We start getting messages.
cool.
It's awesome.
And it's such an abundance mindset that you guys have, because again, the scarcity entrepreneur would be like, well, I just need to keep selling something, you know, that works. And you're like, no, people will be there, and then we'll like create something else.
You have to have confidence in your ability to recreate that. We do offer cinnamon rolls. We're actually kind of redesigning how we do that, but we would have a line around the building. And that was our first, it was a light bulb. It was like, oh my goodness, it was only on Sundays. It was like one Sunday a month, cinnamon roll Sunday, and people would line up just to get these cinnamon rolls. We would come in at like 2 a.m, full team,
Wow.
and we're like, cool, how many can we make? And we honestly would just make as many as we could till the sun came up.
Yeah.
And bake them off and sell them. And it was amazing. And so I think we saw that and we knew that, okay, we can recreate this with what we have here, with the team that we have here. And some of it is you have to have confidence in your team and their ability to learn and to manage things too. I think I see a lot of people who don't necessarily have confidence in their ability to manage a rush like that. And so they almost kind of pump the brakes on themselves. And we kind of just all to the wall. We talked to our team about it, but this has been in the making. We've had several team calls like, hey, this is that month. It's going to be odd, but March, they're coming, and they have.
They're
And
coming.
So they're ready.
The British
They're
are coming.
excited. We get them excited.
Yeah.
The customers are excited. So it's a really exciting time at Cookie Society in March.
So we've talked a lot about the good. I'm sorry, this cookie's really good. Tell me about the bad. Like,
Oh my
was
goodness.
there ever a moment where you're like, oh shit, I don't know if this is gonna work, or
Absolutely.
like an absolute? I mean, obviously, I have a million of them, but
Same.
Yeah.
I was like, what year should we start in? Global pandemic was at the top of it. I think that did help us to weather some things, but I was in tears during Oprah's Favorite Things. As amazing as that was, the other side of the coin was daily tears. Daily
Why?
tears. Our first crate. So we had to have this luxe packaging. It was a wooden crate and it had Cookie Society imprinted on the top. It was beautiful. And she wanted 12 individual cookies, 12 unique flavors. So we do this, we send them off. We send the first probably
What Oprah
150.
wants, Oprah gets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're like, we'll jump through all the hoops
Yeah.
of fire, whatever you want. And they all broke. The crates, collapsed when people received them in the mail. And so we start getting pictures of collapsed
No.
crates, emails, angry people.
Oh my gosh.
And my favorite, now that I look back, is they're like, you know what? I hate that I'm going to have to tell Oprah. Or it'd be like, I like to support small businesses, but. And that just gut me.
Oh, dagger.
It was awful. And our company, it was just an honest mistake. The company that we had the boxes, their pressure was up too high on the nail gun. And it went straight through. And so they were just held on by a prayer. And so when they went through, the shipping process, they just fell apart.
Oh my
They
gosh.
fixed it. No issue. They were like, oh my goodness, we'll be there tomorrow with more. But I'd already sent out
Yeah.
150. I had to resend those. I had to eat the shipping. I had to eat the crates. I had to
Marissa.
eat the cookies. And so now we were on our heels for 22 days. I remember I had to shut the site down and I get a call from New York City and he's like, hey, is everything okay? You can't do that. And we were getting hundreds of
Meaning
orders like an
Oprah's.
hour.
You got a call from Oprah's
team.
Oh my gosh.
I just see it pop up on my phone and I was so scared.
Yeah.
Everybody gets silent. I go to the back of the kitchen and he was really, really nice about it.
Yeah.
He's like, what can we do from here? I'm like, make more cookies. I mean, can you make
Yeah.
cookies? Come on
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. But now we say we can get through anything because we got through that.
Because you got through that.
We've ordered, 6 pallets worth of boxes and the Love in Every Crumb right here was upside down.
Shut up.
And we approved that proof.
Yeah.
We had to have our team sticker them in their spare time
Oh my
up
gosh.
front. And it was humiliating. It was like, man, we've made it. This wasn't recent, but I think we were going on store 2 and it's like, we've made it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. This was the most elementary mistake that we have ever made. And the other was just building culture along the way. I think I wouldn't call it a mistake, but there's obviously like missteps.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out what motivates your team, finding good leaders that are going to work for you.
Yeah.
When I was in there every day, you didn't have to be a great leader because I was not going to let the ship sink.
Yeah.
But then when we started opening store 2, store 3, store 4,
Where you couldn't be physically present
Yeah, when
everywhere.
Jeff or I couldn't be in that store, we had a lot of gaps. We didn't create that culture initially. It was a culture of welcome. We are happy to have you here. Good vibes. But there wasn't this culture of expectation and consistency. And we kind of had to work backwards, if we're being completely honest, and build that.
Yeah. One of the things that, when you talk about Oprah, it's like, oh, that would be a dream for any entrepreneur. And of course it would be. But did you ever feel like, some of the things that you really chased, you got it, and you're like, I thought it was going to be like orbit me into this level of success that didn't feel that way?
Absolutely. You think that, oh my goodness, like we've made it. Now, this was our first 6 months of business. I don't know if I put that out there.
Oh, you did not.
I thought it was a scam.
Yeah.
we were barely making it. I sold out yesterday, and not on purpose. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is about to just catapult us. We had people trying to buy our business. They want to franchise off of just that opportunity, but obviously it wasn't the right time for any of that. And after it died down, probably a couple months after, we obviously retained some customers, but
it wasn't like, listen, that would happen to us all the time.
About it.
Yeah. We, similar, like kind of a similar story. We had this really big TV show for Headbands of Hope that was going to sell, our headbands and do this huge segment on it. And they had to get, like, we had to do quality control over the headbands, and they were like said delivered to our warehouse. And we were like, it's not. And it was this time frame where it was like, we had to, within 24 hours, kind of get the quality control, get it to this TV place. And we found that the packages were accidentally delivered to the Amazon warehouse in Charlotte.
Oh, they're gone.
Well, they're gone. Yeah, they're gone. And so I was like, what do we have to do? Do I have to like dress up like an Amazon, and get there and ask them? And it ended up being this really actually amazing moment for social media. Social media definitely has its like downside, but this moment, all of my employees, we all posted what was happening. Like, is anyone work at Amazon that can help us get these packages from the Charlotte warehouse? And then it was shared and everything. And then someone I went to college with babysat for a family who the dad was like the operations. It was like that. And he called me. It was that night. And he was like, I'm heading there right now. And like, we're going to find these boxes. And they did. And of course, we got on the show, and I was like, oh, it was, it was great. But it was like the moment of people finding the boxes was more impactful than actually being on the show.
And that's how it works.
Yeah.
Right. And that like community effect. And we've seen that as well. Like that community effect is way more powerful than any spot that we get on the news, on the TV and stuff.
And I think that is when you look at everything, all of the trends these days, it's like, of course there's AI and everything, but I think because of that, businesses that can build community are the ones that are lasting.
100%.
Why do you think Cookie Society, what you've built, has such a cult following?
Oh my goodness. I think we are selling cookies like a lot of other businesses are selling.
Yeah.
But
also they're really freaking good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
I think that makes you want to come back. It's the butter, that hooks people. But I also think it is, I think a lot of people are invested in our story. I started and I made this video that I did not know we would use in this way, but it was just like, I started a cookie company, and the cookie company was me selling like 25 boxes online. But I was just so proud, and I'd spent so much time blogging and even talking about just like being a mom and any sort of struggles that I had with that of like, I feel like I'm just a mom, but I know it's not just a mom, like things like that. And people were following, and I think so many people resonated. And then I started working with my husband, and I think that resonated. And like you said earlier, a lot of people of color, a lot of women of color aren't necessarily building businesses that can scale or that do scale ultimately. And so I think there's a lot of people kind of championing us. Just, we want to see you guys win, and you guys have a good product, and you're doing things the right way. And we're trying to, impact our community along the way and help people. And I think that resonates. And I think, like you said, AI is not going to necessarily do that for you. They can't create that moment for you. They can't create a story that never existed for you.
Yeah.
And so I think us going through every single phase, the good and the bad, sharing it when appropriate has ultimately been a net positive.
I'm curious if you can relate to this. I feel like I was more confident when I first started my business and had no success than I am now.
Absolutely.
Why are we like that?
I think at that time, it was like, ooh, I can hustle through anything.
Yes.
Right.
And also no one's watching.
No one's watching.
Yeah.
I can make missteps. It's
sure.
a new business. I'm a
Yeah.
small business.
Whatever.
But I think as we grew and the responsibilities changed, I feel like I know less now.
Yes.
Like I could get us from my kitchen to the commercial kitchen to store one. But now taking a company with, I think we're sitting at like 88 people, 88 people opening 2 more locations. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I figured it out, and we do know a lot, but we've made this shift to hire people that are smarter than us as of late. And it's been life-changing. Number one, I feel like we can breathe. So we were talking about being married and, those transitions, that's enabled us to do that. That's full transparency. That's helped.
Yeah.
But I'm learning so much from these people that we bring in.
Yeah.
And we feel at first it was, we're going to go our own pace and we're just going to do what makes sense and you're not going to rush us into the next location. But we recently moved into a much larger production facility and we have an amazing team over there and we are cranking out cookies. And now we need places to sell them, people to sell them to. And could we eventually get there? Absolutely. But we needed some support to do it. So we had to humble ourselves and go and find the people to help us market and kind of expand upon the marketing base that we've already created. We had to find more strategic leadership. We can't be everywhere. We can't follow up like we need to. And so we had to go find someone that's been where we want to be. And so I'm so excited. I'm excited about kind of our journey from 5 stores to hopefully 10 because we have such a great team built to do it. And I think it's going to come with a lot less heartache. I don't think we're going to order upside down boxes anymore. I'm feeling very confident about that.
Yeah, I think that I used to hire people to execute my vision. And now I hire people to expand my vision.
I love that.
It's so like Christine, who is our CEO, I demoted myself. I was like, I don't like doing this.
Yeah.
I was like, I just was one day like, I like creating things. And then when it was like, what's the P&L? What's the, all this stuff, I was like, this is not fun.
Yeah.
And so she was crushing it and came from all of this experience. And I was like, I want you to run this thing and I want to keep doing the creative work. And so I think that's another thing for founders. It's like, sometimes we think we're the only ones with the vision or the only one that can run it. And I think you're kind of stunting your own growth in that
100%.
way. But I want to go back to when you were like, we're opening more locations. I have no idea how to do this. For someone who can't hire right now, who is maybe in a moment in their career or their business or whatever that's lacking that confidence. So like, I know what I want to do, but I don't have the confidence to do it or the knowledge. What advice would you give them?
I do say do it scared, but don't do it without confidence. I don't think if you don't have confidence in yourself, they're not going to have confidence in you, meaning your team, your customers. So you have to find that confidence first. And maybe it's you're going to master one area. So an example is we didn't start doing catering. We didn't start like that because we didn't even have the right tools. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know how many orders to expect and stuff. And so we just started with just one item. And so if you're in that place, and maybe we're not talking about opening multiple locations or outlets, but if you want to expand a product line or kind of jump into something else while keeping what you're doing, I think you have to learn as much as you can and start and do some research and already start scouting that person that you need and essentially mirror their actions. So I found someone on LinkedIn that was doing is running a company with 5+ locations. It's bakery. And I said, okay, I'm going to follow you and your journey and what you're doing. And I'm going to try to mirror that.
Yes.
And so that's kind of free. Everybody is, kind of promoting themselves on LinkedIn. So go find them. Go find someone in the place that you want to be and kind of work yourself backwards and see what they did to get there.
I think someone who's confident like you are looks at other people and gets inspired, and someone who might be on the insecure side looks at other people and compares. And that's when I know I'm feeling insecure, when I'm looking at other people and being like, I should have been on that stage, or I should, or feeling envious. And then I know I'm in a place of inspiration when I see other people doing big things and I'm like, oh, that's possible for me.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of moments of insecurity. Like, man, I just can't figure this out. And she did, and she scaled so quickly. And like you said, you have to check yourself.
Yeah.
Now it needs to be, oh my goodness, if she can do it, I can do it. I just got to figure out exactly how. And it's exciting now. I will say that's the one exciting part about my role. I don't get to be in the kitchen as much as I used to be and I liked being, but it's exciting kind of cracking the code or figuring something out, Or for me, it's creating a process or a system, which is what I do most of the time these days, that works,
Yes.
that my team actually adopts and like leans into. That's the most exciting part of my day now.
You're a systems girly,
I'm a
which I
systems
love
person.
that. And data, which is so like on the outside would be surprising. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, she bakes, she cooks, she look at it, like how cute she is. And you use data
Oh, I love a good
to
spreadsheet.
drive decisions and spreadsheets. And I love like, I want to see more women like leaning into that side of it. And I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the data's not going to lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk to people, and especially women founders, I'm like, know your numbers
Mm-hmm.
and know them enough to speak confidently there. And that's going to take you a lot of places. Because I feel like it makes a lot of things that are like, maybe we can do it. It's a very hard yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
In all kinds of things. Like, nope. The numbers
Yeah.
don't support it.
Yeah.
Nope, we can't do that. And so trying to take those numbers from everything from not just a recipe, but my team's production capacity, what I can do with this many labor hours in a location really crafts a lot of our decisions. And we use those same metrics to decide when we can open another store. So it is more strategic than it probably looks. I'm sure to some people it's off of vibes. Like we're just looking for the next cutest cookie society, but we're definitely trying to go where we're going to be supported, appreciated, where we can build a team,
Yeah.
where we can reach from our facility.
And the
where we
numbers
can
give you
replicate.
confidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're
There's
like, no, I
confidence
can
in numbers.
stand on this because I know we've been able to do it and have done
Absolutely.
it before.
So learn some numbers.
Yeah,
There
I
you
know.
go.
It's like I am not a spreadsheet girly or a freak in the sheets, as they say. So I have had to learn. What does making it look like for you now? Because I know for me, before becoming a mom, before starting my business, my idea of making it was so different. And so what does
Absolutely.
making it look like?
So when you said you demoted yourself, I'm like, man, is that in the cards for
yeah,
me?
should I devote myself?
Because making it doesn't necessarily look like I'm at the top of the pyramid.
Yes.
For me, it more looks like a healthy, thriving business. And I'm a little bit less particular on where I'm at in that hierarchy than I used to be. My kids are getting older. And like I said, I'm trying to kind of step back in and be there for them and support them in the ways that they need me to. And so I think success is gonna look like, ooh, the business is healthy, it's thriving, but I get to be a mom, I get to be a wife, not necessarily stay at home. I don't know if I could do that,
Yeah.
but I think it's definitely to continue to make an impact. But like I said, it doesn't have to be from the top.
Yeah, I think that's a really great way to put it. And I think something that has become clear on this show is business-led life, like creating a business that supports your life, because
Yes.
sometimes bigger isn't always better for life.
Absolutely.
And so I think about that a lot with growing Mic Drop now. Like, I want a business that supports me being able to pick up the kids or
Yes.
like doing something like that.
Yeah.
So what would you tell yourself when you had, what was it, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old when you started?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the time we opened that store, oh my goodness, they were.
Oh my gosh. What would be the advice you would give yourself then, knowing what you know now?
Ooh, you're going to make the mistakes. I spent a lot of time planning. I'm like, I'm going to plan around these mistakes. Like, I'm going to make sure I'm so well studied and I know all of these things. They're still going to happen. Mistakes and things are going to go wrong. And I wasted so much sleep planning for things that either didn't happen or it was something catastrophically worse that I could have never, ever thought of.
Didn't see that one coming.
Didn't
Yeah.
see that at all.
Yeah.
And so I would say stop wasting sleep on that. I would say you are built for it if it's what you want, and what's for you will be there.
Yeah.
I think I was really worried about the timing of things. I was always worried about timing or like the speed at which we were moving. But if it's for you, it's going to be there. And we discovered that a lot of things, like there were some spaces that we put bids in and there were some opportunities that we didn't get that I really wanted. But in retrospect, it kind of saved us.
Yeah.
There's some opportunities. Thank goodness you didn't give us that because we were not ready.
Yeah.
I thought we were, but we weren't. And so stop trying to plan around mistakes. Get you a business plan. Get you some structure, but you can't put in place all these ways to like tiptoe around. It's
You
just part
never
of
know
business.
what's going to happen,
Yeah.
the bad and the good.
Yeah.
There's
that's
like
true.
so many things that kind of come up on our line items, like at the end of the year that came through that was like, that was not on our vision board. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
So staying open to opportunities.
Didn't even know to
like-
reach for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. So we're just trying to take over Texas.
Yes.
Right now. That's the goal. So
Can you do North Carolina next? That's where I am.
You know what? I love the Carolinas.
Yeah.
We went to South Carolina last year. middle of last year.
what Jeff
Loved
was
it.
saying.
I've been to North Carolina before. I love the trees. It's so pretty.
I will be
and-
your ambassador.
Yeah, we're gonna need some affiliates.
Yes, I'm in.
But
Well,
we're
where
trying to figure it
people
out.
who aren't in Texas, can you ship?
We do.
Yeah, so tell about where people can
Absolutely.
find you.
So cookiesociety.com, you can get the breakfast box shipped to you.
I'm
You can get our
going to do
classic
that.
bestsellers shipped to you, a full dozen. We do a lot of gifting. We ship all week. So
Yeah.
place your orders online. We'll get those to you if you want to try them.
And I will say that you are also a great follow on Instagram, and I love what you're doing with your personal brand. And so everyone go follow Marissa as well. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to Making It with Jess Ekstrom. Make sure you're subscribed and leave a review if you're enjoying it. See you next time.